What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and today we are finally going to be taking a look at the Analogue Pocket. If you haven't heard of this thing, it's basically a Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Neo Geo, Game Gear. It's a bunch of old school portable systems that we used to play back in the day, wrapped up in a body that meets 2022 standards. I've been loving this thing and even featured it in my favorite tech of 2021 video, but we're gonna talk about all of the ins and outs of this guy and see if it's worth you investing in. But before we jump into the video, we gotta give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Truebill. So for those of you who don't know, Truebill is an all-in-one personal finance platform that's geared towards helping you save more and spend less. And the Personal Finance Manager allows you to manage your subscriptions, lower your bills, monitor your credit score, and build up your savings all in one place. Now, we all know in today's day and age, everything has a subscription service, and sometimes we sign up for these things and completely lose track. And with Truebill, it can safely and securely identify those reoccurring charges and cancel any unwanted subscriptions with just a tap. But I think one of the coolest things that you can do with Truebill is set up budgets so that it can monitor the activity that you have within a certain category. Maybe you've got a certain amount you want to spend on entertainment per month, and it'll let you know if you've exceeded it. And it can even help you visualize your spend to earn ratio by month, quarter, year, however you want it. You can actually see just how much you're spending and earning so that you can plan accordingly. There's honestly just a lot that you can do with Truebill. So if you're looking to take even more control of your finances, head on over to the links down below in the description or head over to truebill.com/youraverageconsumer to try it out for free. But now, let's talk about this Analogue Pocket. So what we're looking at here, guys, I mean, you take one look at it. What do you think you're looking at, Carl? Oh my God, Carl, get out.
We're cutting that.
Get out.
We're cutting that.
Game
We're
Boy
doing it over. I gotta
Advance.
retry. Is it SP? Which one? Like,
SP, that's even worse. What are you doing? How old are you? Anyway, you look at this thing and you're thinking a Game Boy. Game Boy Color at worst, Carl. Come on, man.
I mean,
So Analogue did a really good job at giving us a Game Boy feel down to being able to use even Game Boy hardware like the cartridges. It can work with Game Boy, Game Boy Color. We've got Game Boy Advance. Now, why I say this is a system that feels like it belongs in this year is because the hardware is top notch. And I've used systems in the past that kind of run on emulation and they're meant to give you that Game Boy feel, but they feel like they're, you know, kind of cheap. So I really appreciate what Analogue has done here. They've done a lot of things to really give you the Game Boy feel, but like made in this year. And it's even to the point where you're not only using Game Boy cartridges here, but they've got the Game Boy link cable port here as well. So this can actually link up to another Analogue Pocket or another Game Boy Color, another Game Boy Advance. Insane stuff. So if you've got like Pokemon and you want to do some old school trading, you can do that. The nostalgia levels are just through the roof. Listen, Jay, I need you to get your hands on one, man, so we could battle, trade some Pokemon.
mine is coming.
But you,
And next year.
that's one of the biggest problems right now. If you purchase this, you're putting a pre-order in for a pretty late date. So they're pretty much being rolled out in waves. And I think as of right now, if you purchase one, you'll probably get it in 2023. So unfortunately, if you try to pick one up, you might have to wait a bit. Now, we've talked about like the overall hardware being absolutely great. We didn't talk about the biggest aspect of this, and that's this beautiful screen. So we've got this beautiful 3.5-inch display, 1600 by 1440p, and with a screen this small, that pixel density is insane. And what's nice about this is you can actually change up the way it looks depending on the vibe you're going for. So right now I've currently got it on Analogue's display mode, but you can actually change it to some of the older looking systems. So if you want that really old school Game Boy, this is what it would look like. And it's these little nuances and small details that I really appreciate from Analogue. They really do pretty much everything to make it feel like the original system, but allowing you to have so much control. Now, I'm not gonna lie, because of the nice hardware, the nostalgia, it's made me get back into playing some old school games. I've actually gone on eBay picking up games that I used to play as a kid. I picked up Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, one of my all-time favorites, Guilty Gear. There are just so many games now that I'm actually looking into buying because this system makes it feel like it's worth playing. These other emulators have the nostalgia factor there a bit, but nothing I want to just keep up. This one, being able to take it on the go, I have like a dedicated system for it, is just overall such a really good experience. And it adds functionality from a device that you would expect in today's age. So I can go ahead, put this thing to sleep, remove the cartridge. I can even throw this guy in. I'll put this guy back. And when I wake it, I'm right back to playing. It pretty much saves the state of the last cartridge that was on. Biggest concern back in the day is your cartridge ever coming out, because then you lose your spot, you lose your save or something. It's a bad time. But you don't have to worry. If it's in sleep mode, it'll come right back on right where you left off. So we've got some Pokemon Silver over here, and I feel like we've never seen it look this good before. Like, look at, you don't see Lugia, Jay?
Best Pokemon.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
He's swimming kind of nice. Carl, you don't know nothing about this. Now, obviously from a hardware perspective, this thing checks all of the boxes when it comes to these like old school games. And we kind of touched on the fact that it has the link cable down here. They offer a few different cables to do a couple of different things. You can even connect it to like your PC, your Mac. There's a lot that you can do with these, I believe. Listen, there's a whole nother world beyond the retro gaming aspect of this. You can create music on it. It has like a synthesizer built into it. There's even a dev mode where you can build games and create games for the system. It's pretty surprising stuff to see on a device like this, because for me, I'm just picking up to play some Pokemon, you know, that's what I'm here for. But you can do a lot more if you're into that kind of stuff. I'll of course have links down below so you guys can read all the details. But it's nice that you're not just investing on like this old school retro thing. They're creating quite the ecosystem here. There's just so much you can do with this. It even comes with this hard shell case that I'm not really crazy about from a traveling perspective, but if you want to use it to just display the system, you can do that. But hopefully we'll see some third parties kind of jump in on this and make better cases. Now, like I mentioned, you can play Neo Geo or Game Gear, but those do require an adapter. I've never played Neo Geo or Game Gear, and those, I never got my hands on those, so I don't have any games that come to mind that I would want to pick up for this. But the functionality is there. You just got to throw on the adapter. And if for whatever reason playing handheld mode doesn't cut it for you, they actually make a dock so that you can hook this up to a monitor or a TV. It outputs in 1080p. You can see that it's got a few ports. It's got HDMI, 2 USB, and it's got USB Type-C for power. Only thing about this dock is that you can see it wiggles a bit. Doesn't really feel super secure in here, but if it's docked up and you're not touching it, it's not really a big deal, but just something to note. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The dock, it's not something I'm gonna use that much. I don't even dock my Nintendo Switch. But if you want to be able to drop this down and, you know, just start playing on a screen, you can do that. I think the current controllers that you can use with it are pretty limited, but support for future controllers are coming. So I think Nintendo Switch Pro controller, that kind of thing, is going to be able to be used with this in dock mode. Now, obviously, we talked about this having a high quality display. It's also got really nice speakers. The audio gets pretty loud, much louder than anything we've heard before, and it's stereo. So we've got audio on both sides. That's pretty loud. Yeah, right? And it sounds really clean. And there are other cool things that you can do with this, like map the buttons so you can kind of change up how it actually plays. Not something I'm never gonna mess with because I want it to feel like it did back in the day. But the options are there. And not to mention, this thing also has a 4300 milliamp hour battery. Battery life has been pretty solid for me. Listen, I jump into this every now and then. It's not something I'm playing all the time, but whenever I jump in, don't tend to lose much power. I know it's rated for over 10 hours of sleep time, but I've gotten way more than that. So putting it to sleep definitely saves a lot on battery, and you're able to get hours and hours of playing in on one charge. And it uses USB Type-C, so very easy to charge. USB Type-C is something at this point most of us have. Honestly, if you enjoyed the Game Boy era, this is absolutely worth picking up. I know there are multiple devices out there that you can kind of do something similar, but I've never seen anything with this kind of quality, especially from a portability standpoint. That's not doing any kind of emulation. It's legitimately playing the cartridge. It's an experience that I did not expect to have, but I'm so glad it's here now today. So I definitely think it's worth putting in a pre-order. I believe you can pick up the system at $220, but like we talked about earlier, those ship dates, kind of out there. So get your pre-order in as fast as possible if you want to jump in on it. Do I recommend this? Absolutely, it's a no-brainer to me. I think this is a high quality device. And like, listen, I'm investing in it. I'm investing in these old school cartridges. If you're buying these games right now off eBay, just make sure they've got like the new battery so you can have like your save files and that kind of stuff. But I'm paying for all the games that I used to play back in the day. That's how much I believe in this, and I've been enjoying it. But that about wraps it up for this video, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be the cool guy, girl that gives this video a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace. Trey, hurry up and get it, man.
Sell me this one.
It's mine.